Good day to you all, comrades and friends. This is Global Weekly News, serial number 45. First, we are going to see about the celebration of May Day all over the world. Irrespective of caste, religion, language, ethnicity, working class all over the world celebrated May Day as International Working Men's Day. They pledged to carry on the struggle against imperialism, capitalism, and fascism much more strongly and vigorously. This is the pledge they have taken on May Day. Great Britain, British working class suffered a lot during the corona period. Last year, their miseries increased. The real wages got reduced. Inflation was continuously rising due to the policies of conservative government. All over England, health staff of National Health Service, that is government owned one, National Health Service, affiliated with the Union, went on strike on May 1st and May 2nd. Health staff went on strike. This strike was due to pay offer of the government below that of the inflation hike. Nurses of Royal College of Nursing went on strike on 1st May. The teachers of England had been on strike on 27th April. They went on strike again on 2nd May. Communist Party of Britain, in its May Day statement, condemned NATO and pressed for a peaceful solution to end the wars in Ukraine and Sudan. In France, massive rallies of workers against anti-labor pension reforms took place on 1st May. CGT, the largest trade union, pledged on 1st May to struggle for wage hike and withdrawal of pension reforms continuously. Greece, PAME, All Workers Militant Front, conducted a massive rally on May Day. Slogans in support of French workers and struggle against pension reforms were raised in the rally. Further, May Day rallies took place in Austria, Italy, and other European countries as well. In Lebanon, Turkey, Iraq of West Asia, and Tunisia and other North African countries, May Day was celebrated. The trade union in Tunisia pledged its struggle against the government's neoliberal policies and corruption. May Day statement of Workers' Democratic Party of Mozambique mentioned that it will carry forward the united militant trade union movement for a dignified life for the working class. Comrades and friends, there was an international summit on Venezuela. One-day conference was held in Bogota, the capital of Colombia, on 25th April. This conference was convened by Gustavo Petro, the President of Colombia, in which leaders from 19 countries and European Union participated. This conference discussed the political situation in Venezuela. Negotiations between the left government of Venezuela and the US-supported far-right forces were held in Mexico on August 2021 and November 2022. Colombian President Gustavo Petro, in his inaugural speech in the conference, emphasized that US sanctions on Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela shall be withdrawn. He stressed on peace and democracy to be stabilized in the Latin American region. He also said that Venezuela shall rejoin the Inter-American Human Rights Commission. At the end of the conference, the Foreign Minister of Colombia released the final decisions of the conference. First point is that Venezuela government shall release a free, transparent election schedule for president's post, taking into account the recommendations of European Union Election Observers Project. Presidential elections are due in 2024 in Venezuela. Major opposition parties were boycotting the election for a long period, but they too participated in the regional elections held in November 2021. The ruling United Socialist Party of Venezuela won a great majority. Second point of the resolution is all sanctions on Venezuela shall be removed simultaneously with the reaching of agreements between Nicolas Maduro government of Venezuela and the opposition. The third point is that while the negotiations take place, trust fund for social investments shall be implemented in an accelerated manner. Gustavo Petro did not invite the Venezuelan government and the opposition, but both of them have expressed their support on the conference decisions. On 20th April, Gustavo Petro, the President of Colombia, went to US and met Joe Biden, the President of America. Petro emphasized Biden for gradual withdrawal of United States sanctions on Venezuela. Comrades, let us see what is happening in Colombia. There have been conflicts between the government of Colombia and National Liberation Army, shortly ELN, for many years. First round talks were held between 21st November and 12th December of 2022 in Caracas of Venezuela. This is the first round talks. Agreements to resettle the indigenous communities affected by the conflicts and to carry out relief measures were arrived at. Second round of talks were held in Mexico between 13th February and 10th March of this year. 6-point agreement was arrived at. Though the peace talks began in 2017, they were stopped in January 2019 when Ivan Duque became the president. Gustavo Petro became the president of Colombia in August 2022. Peace talks were resumed between the government and left guerrilla groups, right paramilitary forces, and drug traffickers. Third round of talks are held in Havana, the capital of Cuba, on 2nd May. Comrades and friends, let us pay homage to Harry Belafonte. On 25th April, militant singer, actor, and organizer Harry Belafonte passed away at the age of 96. While some media paid tribute to his anti-racist and civil rights activism, there has been an important omission regarding his support to the causes of working people across the globe. Belafonte was born in Harlem of New York City, the son of working-class Jamaican-born parents. Belafonte won many awards, including the first black person to win an Emmy Award, similar to the Oscar Award. 1 million music records of him were sold in a year. He used his talent and success to bring the music of the Caribbean and US working class to the forefront of pop culture. He also popularized the music of singer and anti-apartheid militant Miriam Makeba to US audiences. Belafonte often cited as his mentor guide Paul Robeson, a celebrated Harlem Renaissance singer as well as a communist and a stalwart defender of the working class revolutions around the world, especially the Soviet Union. Paul Robeson was heavily persecuted by the US government for his political beliefs. He was denied a US passport. But despite persecution, Robeson never wavered in his commitment to advocating for the working class of the world. Belafonte lambasted the apartheid government of South Africa. Belafonte lambasted the apartheid government of South Africa and supported Nelson Mandela even when he was still labeled as a terrorist by US government. Belafonte used his singing fortune to fund the civil rights movement. He was close personal friend of Martin Luther King Jr. Belafonte was a supporter of the Cuban and Venezuelan revolutions till his last breath. In 2006, Belafonte went to Venezuela, met Hugo Chavez, its president. He also met Fidel Castro and traveled to Cuba many times in his life, supporting the 1959 revolutionary triumph. On 23rd July 2020, the Cuban government awarded him the Friendship Medal. On 27th September 2003, Belafonte spoke at the Church of Reconciliation in New York to advocate for the release of 5 Cuban heroes, They are anti-terrorism fighters. They were released after many years of imprisonment in US due to international pressure. Let us pay homage to the departed revolutionary leader Harry Belafonte, who died at the age of 96. Comrades, let us see what is happening in South Africa. The apartheid government of South Africa ended in 1994. On 27th April 1994, first democratic elections were held. Every year, this day, 27th April, is celebrated as Freedom Day. But South African shack dwellers movement or slum dwellers movement or hut dwellers movement called Abalali Base Jontola, in short, briefly, ABM movement. ABM movement is observing 27th April as Unfreedom Day or Black Day. As far as marginalized poor people are considered, freedom is a fake one. On 26th, 28th and 29th April, ABM movement had conducted rallies in Durban and two other cities. ABM president said, in 1994, we got only casting vote rights. This is not full freedom. ABM boycotted local body elections in 2006 and 2011, saying that no land, no house, therefore no votes. We don't have land, we don't have house, therefore why should we vote? In 2011, ABM movement said, we cannot determine the future of our society and country. We do not have respect and dignity. Then how can we say that we have freedom? Only if we get all this, we can fully recognize freedom. Till today, 87% of land is with white minority people. They are white communal farmers. ABM president said, we are not free. Till today, 87% land is with white minority of people. They are white commercial farmers. ABM president said, we are not free. We do not have a place in urban core centers. Landless people shall occupy the vacant and unused lands. This is not a criminal activity. This is only a political activity. Land will not be given. Land shall be taken. Housing right is guaranteed as per the Constitution of South Africa. Right to land cannot be detached from this. ABM movement is occupying the land to ensure the other rights of the Constitution. In the occupied land, ABM movement is creating communal garden, kitchen, poultry, political school, and electricity and water facilities. Government is pro-rich, and the rich people get utmost priority in getting the electricity and water facilities. But ABM movement tries to get all such facilities for the poorest of the poor. They face government repression. In 2022 itself, 24 shack dwellers, including 3 leaders, were killed. Quite often, ABM activists are put in jails under false accusations. Even if they are released, they have to live underground life. On 26th April, after the rally, ABM movement submitted a 16-point charter of demands to the President Cyril Ramaphosa. Employment, stopping torture of roadside vendors, rights of taxi workers, no discrimination based on gender and nationality, removing the police minister, etc. are some of the demands. Comrades, in South Africa, there is a union, NUMSA, National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa. NUMSA, on its May Day declaration, emphasized the ending of neoliberal policies and additional government investment in the economy. Poverty, inequality, unemployment have increased in South Africa. African National Congress-led government is celebrating 29th Freedom Day on 27th April. Power is in the hands of rich elitist people. Colonialism and apartheid have not yet ended. NUMSA condemned the privatization by the government. NUMSA has expressed solidarity to the shack dwellers movement, ABM movement. Comrades, Drought in East Africa. There is severe drought in East African countries, Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia, Uganda, and South Sudan due to the effects of climate change. 1.5 crore children face malnutrition. In 2007, US gave $250 crore to Sudan for military activities to fight Al-Qaeda terrorists. These governments have not allotted adequately for health and education. They are more bothered about fighting Al-Qaeda rather than providing health and education to the poor people. Lastly, we are going to see what's happening in South Korea. Mr. Yoon, South Korean president, recently visited Washington. He said that either US shall bring nuclear weapons to Korean Peninsula or South Korea will produce nuclear weapons. If this happens, stability in Korean Peninsula will be affected. Group 7 meeting, the Group 7 of the most rich countries in the world, that G7 meeting will be held this month in Hiroshima of Japan. United States is focusing on Taiwan issue. Since 1984, US-Taiwan joint military exercises are going on. This year also in July, these military joint exercises will take place. There are no direct US troops presence in Taiwan, but US military bases are there in the neighboring country, the Philippines. US is going to establish 4 more new military bases in the north of Philippines near the South China Sea. As per Article 6 of US-Japan Joint Treaty, United States troops will be used to defend Japan and to establish stability in East Asia. United States, Australia, Japan and India are members of the Quadrilateral Alliance. US actions are irritating the People's Republic of China. Comrades, this is all this week, Global Weekly News, serial number 45. See you next week. Lal Salam. Thank you.